are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. We are working to be free. Hate, greed, and jealousy. We are working to be free.
We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need.
Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, the world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building. We're building a new way. Yeah, I heard it. We're building us a new way. Yeah, I heard it on the front line. That we're building us a new way.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. I think I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue skies. can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. Ooh, it's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Yeah, it's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta. My name is Shawna Floyd, and we are happy to have you with us this Sunday morning. We encourage you to take part fully in the worship. Find a place where you can be present, join us in singing the hymns, close your eyes during meditation, and after the service, we encourage you to comment on our Facebook page and just interact with your fellow congregants. Again, welcome.
Our first hymn this morning is a fabulous hymn by Dr. Issei Barnwell. There's a moment in it that looks a little strange on paper, so it goes like this. Za, whoosh, ha, whoosh. Try that with me. Za, whoosh, ha, whoosh. This is a great hymn. It's number 1001 in the Teal hymnal. It's called Breaths. Often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Zah, whoosh, ah, whoosh, zah, whoosh, ah, whoosh. Those who have died have never, never left. The dead are not under the earth. They are in the rustling trees. They are in the groaning woods. They are in the crying grass. They are in the moaning rocks. The dead are not under the earth. So listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Zah, whoosh, ah, whoosh, zah, whoosh, ah, whoosh. Those who have died have never, never left. The dead have a pact with the living. They are in the woman's breast. They are in the wailing child. They are with us in our homes. They are with us in this crowd. The dead have a pact with the living. So listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the water. Zah, whoosh, ah, whoosh, zah, whoosh, ah, whoosh, zah, whoosh, ah, whoosh, zah. We are so glad you are here with us. It is the best place to watch worship online anywhere, ever. And now to my friend Sonia Tinsley Hook.
Good morning. My name is Sonia Tinsley Hook, and I'm a lay minister here at UUCA. Welcome to Sunday morning worship with the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Atlanta, a beloved community that changes lives. Wherever you are from, whomever you love, and whatever path you are on, you are welcome here. We have some announcements to share with you. Adult RE classes will resume on Tuesday evening, October 20th, from 7:30 to 8:30 p.m., when UUCA member Chris Martin will present learning and applying social science research on racism and anti-racism. When studying racism, sociologists emphasize societies and their structure. Psychologists emphasize mental processes. In this session, you will be introduced to the value of each approach. You will also learn about psychological research on how to talk about social issues in a way that causes other people to care about those issues. Go to uuca.org/register or click the link going into the chat right about now. Please join us for a Zoom Room social hour directly after this service. Register for our Zoom social hour by following the link in our weekly update, or the link that is also being dropped into the chat now. Announcing our Caregivers Support Group. Taking care of others is a sacred and powerful part of being human. To be a caregiver is to say that every person, regardless of age, ability, or health, deserves to receive care. Are you currently a caregiver? If you are, we have a question for you. How are you being cared for? Because here's the catch. Caregivers deserve care too. This is why UUCA would love to invite you to the caregivers group where you can receive support, resources, and connection. If you are interested in joining this group, please contact Mary Crawley. You can find her email in the weekly update or in the live stream chat. Through the live chat, we can express love and care for each other. And as UUs, we know we have a lot of varied opinions. It is a strength of our faith and our congregation. The YouTube chat, however, is not the place to voice and discuss these opinions, as they take away from the flow and experience of the service. If you wish, please use our live chat feature for 3 purposes: to welcome and support one another, to affirm the hard work and effort of our worship leaders, and to spread good vibes. If you have questions or concerns about the sermon or worship, please contact Reverend Taryn or our staff directly via email. If you notice yourself becoming upset during the worship service, please know that we have a lay minister standing by in our live chat. Reach out to lay minister Barbara Begner, and she will arrange a phone call with you offline so that others can enjoy the service. And now I invite you into gentle care on our live stream. Please take a moment now to welcome each other and to welcome anyone who may be visiting into this morning's worship. To say I grew up firmly rooted would be an understatement. My mother still lives in the brick split-level ranch house that she and my father built in 1960 in Covington, Georgia. Also the birthplace of my grandparents and great-grandparents. My father's name, Charlie James Tinsley, is engraved on the cornerstone of the Methodist Church where I grew up, as he was chairman of the Board of Trustees when the sanctuary was built. And for years, the C.J. Tinsley Good Samaritan Award has been presented in his memory of service to a Newton County High School senior who has demonstrated exceptional commitment to the community. The first year that my community organized a MLK scholarship in conjunction with Oxford College of Emory University, I was selected to be the first recipient. No pressure, of course. So I never had to wonder about where I come from because it's always been right there in front of me. My life has been both a struggle to overcome society's exceptionally low expectations of my potential and capabilities as an African American girl and woman, but also to live up to my own community's exceptionally high expectations of me as the daughter of 2 people who were respected for being pillars in their community. The cultural inheritance I received from the community of my childhood was rich, yet my own life journey broadened my sense of who belonged to my community. Rooted in my insatiable childhood appetite for books and ideas, my curiosity about my fellow human beings, my realization over time that there are many right ways to live, my college years at Emory studying everything from world literature to women's studies to social justice, from friends, writers, artists, activists. The vision of what I mean when I say the words my people has evolved so that it no longer is just people who look like me or who grew up with me or people who knew my parents as children. When I say my people, it includes the people who share a passion for equality and justice, a thirst for ideas, a commitment to diversity and equity, a respect for all spiritual paths. My people have become the people who help me believe that the world can be changed. My people means you. After Jeep Hook and I got married, and after the birth of our daughter, Sophia Joy, my search for broader community took on a greater sense of urgency. Who would be there to help us teach our daughter about the things she should know about living a joyful and meaningful life? Where would we find a larger community to anchor our family throughout the joys and challenges of our lives? We both have wonderful families, but where would we find our village? I grew up in one, and I wanted my daughter to have the same thing. What initially brought us here was the unexpected sudden death of Jeep's mother and my beloved mother-in-law, Kathy. Our profound sense of loss reawakened the ache for community and connection, and we came to UUCA the very first Sunday after we returned from Kathy's funeral in England. Walking up the front steps, we realized that we had found our new village. Everything from the boisterous children on the playground to the bustling, happy coffee hour reminded me of all the good things I grew up with in my church community. But the books on subjects such as raising free thinkers, the spiritually and intellectually challenging sermons, the social justice activities, the welcome presence of all kinds of families suggested that UUCA had the potential to become the community of my dreams. As the saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child, but I have learned over the years that in addition to raising a child, it takes a village to maintain one's sanity. It takes a village to help you get going and keep going when things are tough. It takes a village to celebrate with you, to mourn with you, to keep watch with you. It takes a village to really help you feel a sense of connection and belonging. It takes a village to help you keep believing that we can help change this world, that we can end systemic racism, sexism, heterosexism, classism, and all the other isms that devalue and reduce human beings, and that deem some individuals to be less worthy than others. If you are anything like me, and because you're human, I know that you are, you lose hope daily. Your hope, my hope, our hope, is a precious and limited resource that has to be constantly renewed. We need our booster shots of hope way more frequently than we even need our flu shots. And this place, UCA, my village, my connection to you, is an essential part of what keeps my hope alive. One day, we will be able to gather together again in person, all of us village people, all together. And I am excited to tell you that as of today, we've reached a new milestone. We have raised $3.4 million, yay, towards our overall goal of $4 million. So that's amazing. I'm excited that I got to be the one to say that. But let's keep working together, investing our time, our talent, and yes, our treasure, to keep building this village that honors all the parts of who we are. In the words of one of my favorite writers, Alice Walker, to the extent that it is possible, you must live in the world today as you wish everyone to live in the world to come. That can be your contribution. Otherwise, the world you want will never be formed. Why? Because you are waiting for others to do what you are not doing, and they are waiting for you, and so on. And the planet goes from bad to worse. Well, here at UUCA, we've taken those words to heart. We are not sitting here waiting for the planet to go from bad to worse. Here in our village, we are trying to live in the world today as we wish everyone to live in the world to come. Here in our village, we have vowed to one another to build a new way together. So may it be so. Let's help make it so. And let's go. Let's get it done. Now it's time for us to do another thing together.
I know, but Sonia, one thing that I miss in this virtual thing is like the huge standing ovation you would have just received for that amazing. You're awesome.
I feel it. I feel it.
You're good.
So now it's time for us to do another thing that we do together, which is light our chalices. So let's take a moment, light your chalice at home, and let's say the chalice lighting words together. May the light of this flame illuminate our tradition of seeking, invite all who yearn for acceptance, and ignite our passion for justice and peace.
This is a song called I've Known Rivers by Gary Bartz. He was inspired by the Langston Hughes poem, The Negro Speaks of Rivers. Rivers I have seen and rivers I have known, ancient than the world and older than the blood. I've known rivers, I've known rivers, all through Africa and North America, South America and Australia. I've known rivers, I've known rivers. I've known rivers in the north and the south. I've known rivers in the east and the west. I've known rivers all over this world. I've sailed some and seen the rest. I've known rivers, I've known rivers, I've known rivers, ancient dusky rivers, and my soul has grown deep like the river, the river, the river, like the rivers I have seen and rivers I have known, ancient than the world and older than the blood. I've known rivers, I've known rivers, all through Africa and North America, South America and Australia. I've known rivers, I've known rivers. I've known rivers in the north and the south. I've known rivers in the east and the west. I've known rivers all over this world. I've sailed some and seen the rest. I've known rivers, I've known rivers, I've known rivers, ancient dusky rivers, and my soul has grown deep like the river, the river, the river, like the river.
Now let us rise together in body or in spirit and join the Stringer family in our movement prayer.
We bow to honor the spirit of life. We lift our arms with gratitude for the gifts of spirit. We gather these gifts and embrace ourselves and breathe and smile. We share these gifts with the world. We remember to be present. Honor, gratitude, embrace, share. be present.
There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me that I'm There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my heart, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing in my mind, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river that's flowing in my mind.
Let's put our hands on hearts. Feel the warm connection. Let love in this moment flow. Say to yourself silently, I will love myself. I will love others. And that love will heal the world. At this time, we hear the joys and sorrows of this congregation. Let us continue sending healing thoughts to keep Reverend Rhett Baird. Let him know that he's in our hearts. Rhett had surgery on October 14th and is recovering while dealing with post-surgical complications. Cards and emails are welcome. Let us send Robin Stinson and Kevin James loving thoughts and prayers as they leave their longtime family home and return to Atlanta. They ask for support from the loving UUCA community. Phone calls and emails are welcome. Let us hold Steve and Owen Smith with love in our hearts. Hala Kleinman, wife of Steve, mother of Owen, friend to so many, passed away on the evening of October 13th after a long and courageous battle with cancer. Steve and Owen were at her side as they had been during the last several weeks while Halo was at home in hospice care. Halo is known for her love, strength, courage, creativity, and compassion. She will be missed by so many inside and outside of UUCA. No service is planned at this time, but cards, text, calls, and emails are all welcome. We hold in our hearts people who are struggling with loneliness, grief, loss, or illness across the world and here in our congregation. May all beings find comfort. May all beings find connection. May all of us find ways to be more loving to one another. You are invited to say the names of people you are holding in your heart this morning. Speak their names into this holy space or type their names into the chat right now. As humans have gathered for millennia, so we gather on this day to gently surrender to something beyond ourselves, to humbly acknowledge our mistakes, to ask forgiveness, to seek hope and renewal, to honor the earth that supports and sustains life, to remember that all beings are all inextricably and mysteriously connected. Now we still our bodies and we still our minds. We take in a big breath and we exhale. We relax into this space that our intentions make sacred. We enter into the wise silence.
There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a
I was a youth at UUCA and grew to serve as your youth ministries coordinator, I was also a youth at the Mountain and in the Mid-South District's Youth Adult Committee, where I fell in love with policy and governance became my spiritual practice. The strength of my UU upbringing led me to national leadership with the UUA's General Assembly, then to international UU leadership as the president of the diverse, revolutionary UU Multicultural Ministries, or DRUM. My elevator explanation of DRUM is that we serve UUism by consistently engaging in the work of centering BIPOC voices, lives, and experiences. Digging a little bit deeper, being a member of the DRUM community is rigorous work. Being a member of the DRUM steering committee is UU leadership boot camp. DRUM elders and yelders, young elders, have gone to publish incredible works, preach prophetic sermons, lead congregations, work for the UUA, serve as co-moderators, create new principles, and do awe-inspiring organizing. My job and my mission is to actively honor that complex history while guiding the organization towards the big, bold dreams of our membership. On good days, that means talking to the congregation that I serve about the volunteer-run organization that I serve. And on profound days, that means holding space for grief and memorial, signing responsive resolutions, having accountability talks, and tearful middle-of-the-night conversations with my co-leaders and community members about how to lead through tragedy. My relationship with my presidency feels like that of a caregiver. I will actively and proactively give my care to this organization for a total of 3 years before I joined the distinguished company of steering committee elders and yelders. I am up to the task. I have been training for this since YRUU, and my elders have been training to support me in my work since well before that. You are my community too, which means your support of me and your support of DRUM is directly linked to my sustaining success as president. This week, UUCA will pass the plate for DRUM. Your donations will go to providing programming and support to BIPOC UUs all around the world, as well as opportunities for BIPOC UUs in your own congregation. Your donation will go to help keep us focused on our mission and provide room for us to do the work that we were called to do. And now the offering will be given and gratefully received.
I've been through the fire. I felt embers down my spine. And I've said, world, would you please have some mercy on me? Lord, could you please lift the curses on me? You said, you were wasted like the hard way since you was a kid.
Look at the scars on your legs, you keep choosing the wild road. Ooh, oh, I'm not sorry. Stay sick cause I follow my gut. They said I was pushing my luck. Now I'ma push me a matte all black truck. No, I'm not sorry. Stay sick cause I follow my gut. They said I was pushing my luck. Now I'ma push me a all black. Ooh, oh, ooh, I'ma push me a all black. Ooh, oh, I'ma push me a. I've been through the storm, and I've heard thunder in my heart. And I've said, world, would you please shine a light upon me? Or would you show me a sign you love me? You say, but you've always did, like in the hard way since you was a kid. Time after time again, you keep choosing the wild road. I'm not sorry. Stay sick cause I follow my gut. They said I was pushing my luck. Now I'ma push me a matte all black truck. Oh, I'm not sorry. Stay sick cause I follow my gut. They said I was pushing my luck. Now I'ma push me a all black. Ooh, oh, ooh, I'ma push me a all black. Ooh, oh, ooh, I'ma push me a.
And now, please join me in the dedication of the offering. To the work of this congregation, which is weaving a tapestry of love and action we call community, we dedicate our lives, and these are offerings.
We assemble in peace, bringing our joys and our concerns for a non-violent community, nation and world for October, National Domestic Violence Awareness Month. We come together in peace, believing non-violence is possible, and we declare this space a violence-free zone for those who gather here this morning and all the mornings to come. We come together in harmony to remind ourselves that nonviolence is not an option, but mandatory for human beings to survive and thrive. So we come inviting the community of UUCA to hold fast to the peace that surpasses all peace. That peace that emanates from deep within and gives us the courage to stand in the face of oppression and declare that nonviolence is absolutely a human right for all human beings. For we cannot exist in a world of violence. We do not want to live in a world filled with violence. We declare our broken hearts healed from the trauma of violence. We refuse to let violence steal our joy and make us think that we have to live with it or that somehow we deserve it or can do no better. We declare our growth and know we are survivors and not victims. We come together in wonder and amazement, thankful and grateful for the fiscal and human resources of UUCA that help to get the word out, that help to transform our losses, disappointments, our sorrows, and our doubts into hope. For know that while weeping endureth for a night, that joy cometh in the morning. Our morning joy is the UUCA and all those courageous enough to declare the rights of all human beings to live violence-free. So we sing and pray and chant. We speak up and out. We read the dreams and hope. We think and reflect. We cry and laugh and center ourselves when we are afraid, and we hold one another. We mourn the deaths of those lost to senseless violence and celebrate every individual that manages to escape the terror of violence. We celebrate those batterers that transform their lives to teach others a better way and speak the truth about what they have done. We strive for justice and for mercy and for a violence-free world. And so we come together and make these things a reality for ourselves and for our children and for our children's children. Let nothing deter us. So we set forth with determination and resolve to create peace in our hearts, peace in our homes, and peace in our communities. May it be so. Amen. Ashe, Hotep, Shalom, and blessed be.
How wonderful to hear the voice of our own Carol Welter reading those words by Reverend Dr. Qiyamah Rahman. And now I have the pleasure of introducing Dr. Qiyamah Rahman as today's virtual guest minister. Qiyamah has been a member of UUCA for several decades. She was also a member of the Thurman Hamer Ellington UU Fellowship. She has had a distinguished career as a UU minister and has 2 books out this year on the role of women of color in UUism. Yesterday, many of us were lucky to be able to hear Reverend Rahman present the men's lecture virtually, and we at UUCA hosted the event. This lecture is an extremely high honor for a minister to receive. The speaker gets to choose which congregation she wishes to host the lecture, and we are so very proud that of all the places Qiyamah could have chosen in the UU universe, she chose to come home to us. Now for the sermon.
Namaste. The divine in me recognizes and greets the divine in you. I am Qiyamah Rahman, daughter of Elvina Whipple Vaughn, daughter of Bessie Whipple, daughter of Ella Singletary. I bring you greetings from sunny St. Croix in the Virgin Islands. I am honored and delighted to be with you this beautiful and eventful morning. It is particularly fitting because it is my 72nd Earth Day, a season that is one of reflection for me. But a second reason is that although my ministerial career did not begin at UUCA, my journey to Unitarian Universalism did. It was January 1992. I think that was the correct year. It was MLK Jr. Sunday. I do remember that. And the Reverend Dr. Edward Frost was speaking about Dr. King's dream of beloved community. I had been attending Hillside International Truth Center for several years. I had joined and gone through the new members orientation. I was nervous because I knew I was not Christian and I was worried they would find out. But I had not found anything or any place else that I was comfortable with, so I was making do. Over the years, I had noticed flyers advertising Unitarian Universalism, and they were always connected to social justice issues. So one morning, having moved into the neighborhood, my youngest daughter, Kalima, my son, Muhammad, and his best friend and I all showed up at UUCA. Your church in the round allowed me a bird's eye view, and I noticed immediately that we appeared to be the only blacks present that morning. I remember thinking, well, the minister gets some brownie points. He could have skipped MLK Sunday and no one would have been the wiser. So we get through the service. By then, my son was seated to my right and his best friend on my left. I had to separate them because they had gotten too chatty during service. We stand to sing, we shall overcome. Everyone began to spontaneously join hands, and there might have even been a little swaying going on. Have you ever gotten such a strong urge pulling at you that you could not ignore it? So I turned to my right and looked straight into the face of my son. He had this hurt expression on his face. Upon further inspection, I noticed his right hand and the gentleman's left hand next to him were hanging limply by their sides. In that moment, I was already giving the minister a piece of my mind and letting him know why I would never return to this church. As we made our way to the receiving line, I ran into a coworker, Barbara Burnham. Barbara and I knew each other because she headed up the refugee program and I headed up the family violence program. Of course, I knew her and told her what had happened, and she apologized and told me that she did not think it was racism, but that some people at UUCA were not touchy-feely. And then she told me something that changed my life forever. She told me about THE, Thurman Hamer Ellington, an intentionally diverse congregation where I might be more comfortable. Years later, when I was speaking with another Black person, she indicated how insulted she would have felt to be directed to the Black church. Point to note, like any other people, Blacks are not monolithic. We do not think alike or act alike. I was pleased to strut my happy hips up to THE, where in the days, months, and years to come, I filled almost every role possible. I facilitated meetings, served on the board and committees, put together worship services, preached and connected with the larger world of Unitarian Universalism as I fed my soul. I was asked to join the UU Women's Federation. Ann Olson was on the board and had recommended me. I was starting to heal from a violence-filled childhood. I was starting to heal from the racism and as I fed my soul. I was asked to join the UU Women's Federation. Ann Olson was on the board and had recommended me. I was starting to heal from a violence-filled childhood. I was starting to heal from the racism and sexism that told me I was not enough, not pretty enough, not smart enough, not good enough. Years later, when I was entertaining the thought of ministry, my overwhelming thought was, I am not good enough to be a minister, not pious enough, not worthy of being called. My faith formation and theological language began at home with my mother as the resident theologian. Mom was a preacher's kid from Hawkinsville, Georgia, and she took her job seriously. Bedside prayers were a part of our nightly rituals, as were chores and homework, whether it had been assigned or not. Growing up, family was held together by the powerful rituals of Bible stories and Sunday school worship services, food and Sunday visits. Church for the adults was a refuge from the day-to-day struggle of being Black in America. For the children, it was about Bible study and instructions on the values and morals of right and wrong, followed by fun time with friends. The soul-stirring gospel choir's melodic voices filled the small storefront church and reached deep inside one's being and pulled out the bittersweet stuff of life that made it possible for the adults to keep on keeping on from Monday through Saturday. The unmistakable Southern inflections and cadence of Baptist preaching stirred the passions and exalted the senses and emotions at the Greater St. Stephen's Missionary Baptist Church. Many of the ministers and deacons were employed full-time during the week and transformed on Sundays by their calling and the Holy Spirit. Our minister, the Reverend Nathaniel Howard, was an undertaker at Swanson's funeral home in Detroit. Church was where I made my first speech and claimed my first accolades as a public speaker. It was where I conducted my first meeting, held my first office, and experienced the surrogate parenting of the church members who routinely asked about my grades and academic performance. Many of the elderly members had migrated from the South, where they had worked in the fields and as domestics and had not attended school regularly. And so they were fiercely insistent that we youth get our education. My own father only obtained a third grade education, while my mother had 2 years at Savannah State College. I am a first-generation college graduate. Education was highly valued in our family, in our community, and in the larger community of Black folks. Just as my life has not been static, neither has my theology. What I believed when I was a Christian attending Greater St. Stephen's as a youth and later as a practicing Muslim for 10 years and now as a Unitarian Universalist for the last 28 years. My beliefs have changed and will probably continue to change until I die. To shape a theology that represents my personal mission and vision, a theology that would leave the world a better place, actually requires intentionality and work. It requires asking more than who am I, and continually asking and listening and living the answers to these questions is as important as the questions themselves. The term theology refers to reason or discourse about God or the study of God. The purpose of theology is to establish, maintain, and celebrate order, meaning, and purpose in human living. Traditionally, every religion's theology has tried to answer certain questions and issues like, what is life? What is death? Who's in charge here? Is there an end, and will it look a certain way? What is good and what is evil? What is knowledge? Are we alone? How do I do this? As Unitarian Universalists, our theology is Unitarian. God is one. And Universalism, all are saved. Beyond that, we are creedless with no dogma, and we do not have a particular point of view, tenet, or opinion regarding our faith or morals. But be very clear, we are a faithful and moral people, despite lacking a recognizable normative theology. From the outside, Unitarian Universalism may appear easy, but it is challenging to forge a theology that reflects you, to not have a sacred text handed to you, and if you accept one, to be able to comprehend why and how it is relevant to one's beliefs and practices in these contemporary times. Building one's own theology is harder than being handed one. As you know, there are multiple theologies within Unitarian Universalism. Humanism, naturalism, mysticism, Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism, paganism, and theism, just to name a few. As a young Black woman growing up in Detroit, the insurrection of the 1960s, my working class background and my strong Judeo-Christian leanings towards social justice began to shape my solidarity with oppressed peoples and the need for social change. I also assumed metaphysics and activism were incompatible. I did not understand the distinction between organized religion and spirituality. So I dismissed religion, put it on the shelf, and immersed myself in Marxism-Leninism. I traveled to Cuba for 3 months with the Vincent Ramos Brigade in 1972, where we were the first brigade to build workers' houses instead of cutting sugarcane. The most defining moment in my life was the day after 9/11. I thought about the individuals whose lives were taken so abruptly, and I asked myself, if I had been killed, what would I have regretted not doing? The answer was pursuing ministry. The following year, I applied to Meadville Lombard Theological School's modified residency program. From a theology of damnation and hellfire, I have evolved to claim mystical humanism. I believe there is a force outside of myself and others in the universe that is available to humans to co-create our living experience. Some call it universal consciousness, infinite intelligence, the great I am, God, spirit of life. That something lures us toward good and inherently speaks to our sense of humanity and goodness. This universal consciousness, this spirit of life is not gender specific and it is not human. It is not a sentient being, that is, it does not have feelings and emotions. It is an energy in the universe that we can tap into based on concrete laws of the universe. This energy will not define laws such as the law of gravity. So I could not expect to alter my ultimate outcome if I jumped from the 10th floor. I would die. But it is possible through meditation and prayer, I believe, to alter an individual's state of mind, to change the cellular makeup of our bodies that may be producing, let's say, cancer-causing cells. I believe this is what happens when we hear about miraculous healings of persons who were initially diagnosed with a life-threatening illness and later found to be disease-free. Since everything is made up of energy vibrations, I believe we have the power to heal the body and direct cells through vibrational energy if the injuries do not defy the existing laws of science. In the early 1990s, yours truly walked on glowing coals in the popular fire walk. Meditation and prayer allowed me to experience a reality beyond the comprehension of science and my five senses. Approaching the fire and the sight of those glowing coals, I had to know a truth greater than my own limited understanding. Theology is not static or one-dimensional or binary. Unitarian Universalism allowed me to take the best from the faith traditions that I had embraced. Christianity taught me through the example of Jesus about love and compassion and the desire to be of service to others. Islam taught me discipline as a result of praying 5 times a day. It taught me balance. In all things, moderation is key, we were taught. It taught me about spiritual practices like zikr, a practice similar to Catholics' rosary, but using prayer beads while reciting the names of Allah over and over, moving one into a trance and a sense of oneness with that great I am. Most surprising, it gave me the power of women's community. Because of PERTA, the separation of the sexes, I grew to appreciate and love women's spaces. Years later, when I told my sister that I was going into ministry, she asked me, "Who called you?" I said, "We don't do it like that." "No, who called you?" she insisted. She asked me over and over. I began to get a little angry. I tried to explain what I was feeling and why I felt the urge to pursue ministry. You see, she was a fundamentalist. I felt she was bullying me, and she was, and I was getting angry. It was a long time before we spoke again, but in that time, I thought a lot about her question, and here is my answer today as I discerned an answer back then. Different names, but the answer is the same. Who called me? The ancestors called me. The battered woman and trafficked child called me. The Trayvon Martins, the Sandra Blands, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd called me. Every person that has been silenced by violence and whose lives have been unjustly taken. Oppression calls me. I am called to stand with the oppressed by the ancestors. I came to Unitarian Universalism because of the social justice orientation. I have stayed because of the theological diversity that has allowed me to explore and pursue and to discern theologies and who I am as a spiritual being, having a human experience. And now in my 70s, I get to write about and talk about the little bit that I have learned and to gather the stories so that those that come behind me might know that I was here, we were here, Black Unitarian Universalist women, Black Unitarian Universalist clergy women, and that we made a difference in some small way. That is all any of us can do. Try to leave the world a better place than when we came into it. Just as I read Mark Morrison Reed's book, Black Pioneers in a White Denomination, I want Black UU girls and women to read about us and know that we were here and we made a difference. May it be so. Ashe, and blessed be.
Thank you, Dr. Rahman, for your powerful, powerful story and your message. It's very, very meaningful. Thanks to our sound team. Sometimes technical things happen and they fix it like that. Really great. Our final hymn this morning is also by Dr. Issei Barnwell, and she led this hymn at General Assembly. And so I at our virtual General Assembly, so I texted her. She's the most famous person in my phone. I texted her to see if she was okay with us showing this morning, and she said yes. So let us all join together in singing We Are, led by Dr. Issei Barnwell.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of life, and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth, keepers of faith, makers of peace, and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of life, and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are one.
I am just so grateful to Dr. Issei Barnwell for leading that hymn, for Dr. Qiyamah Rahman for her fabulous sermon, to Sonia, Shawna, and Ayana for just making the service so special today. I got my shot of hope, Sonia, my shot of hope. I'll get my flu shot tomorrow, but today I got the shot of hope, really, really special. Let us extinguish our chalices together as Dr. Rahman leaves us with our closing words.
Won't you join me in these closing words and reflections? I want to express my gratitude for a theological container that holds all that my five senses can comprehend, along with that which is an unfolding mystery in the universe that I cannot articulate, that I cannot even begin to fathom. I could not stand before you naming and claiming my theology as that of a mystical humanist, having weathered the storms of life seen and unseen. I could not stand before you not having slain some dragons to be here today, without acknowledging my gratitude for all that is good in the universe that conspires to grant us our heart's desires and to render life's abundance and beauty that connects us one to another. It is that power that will get us on the other side of this pandemic. It is that mystery in the universe that will reinvent in partnership with us a world that sustains us with compassion and justice after this pandemic. It is that which I do not pretend to understand, nor can I fully express to you today, that I am both awed and grateful for. May your spiritual journey be one of adventure filled with community and the things that feed your soul. May it be so. Ashe, Shalom, Amen, and blessed be.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of life, and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth, keepers of faith, makers of peace, and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are mothers of courage, fathers of time, daughters of dust, and the sons of great visions. We're sisters of mercy, brothers of love, lovers of life, and the builders of nations. We're seekers of truth and keepers of faith. We are makers of peace and the wisdom of ages. We are our grandmother's prayers. We are our grandfather's dreamings, and we are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. We are our grandmother's prayers, and we are our grandfather's dreamings. We are the breath of our ancestors. We are the Spirit of God. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe who we are. We are one.
We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these the world would die. Peace and freedom is our cry. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are building a new way, getting stronger every day. We are building a new way. We are building a new way. We are building. We're building a new way. Yeah, I heard it. We're building us a new way. Yeah, I heard it on the front line. That we're building us a new way.
You are the new day, new day, you are the new day. I will love you more than me and more than yesterday. If you can but prove to me you are the new day. Send the sun in time for dawn. Let the birds all hail the morning. Love of life will urge me say, you are the new day. When I lay me down at night, knowing we must fade, thought occur that this night might stay yesterday. Thoughts that we as humans small could slow worlds and end it all. Lie around me where they fall before the new day. One more day when time is running out for everyone. Like a breath I knew would come, I reach for a new day. Hope is my philosophy, just needs days in which to be. Love of life means hope for me, born on a new day. You are the new day. You are the new day. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. turn your head back over your shoulder, and only stop to rest yourself when the silver moon is shining high above the trees. If I had stopped to listen once or twice, if I had closed my mouth and opened my eyes, if I had cooled my head and warmed my heart, I'd not be on this road tonight. Carry on, never run feeling sorry for yourself. It doesn't save you from your troubled mind. Walk down that lonesome road all by yourself. Don't turn your head back over your shoulder, and only stop to rest yourself when the silver moon is shining high above the trees.